Morning, everybody. How's everybody doing this morning? All good? Had good weekends? Refreshed and raring to go? Another week? All good? So, what'd you get up to at the weekend? Anybody do anything exciting? Skydiving, rock climbing? Sitting in front of the telly, down the pub? The usual. I did nothing this weekend much. Went to Brighton. It was quite good. I like going to Brighton. It's good fun. But apart from that, nothing else. So, yeah, dull. Right. So, new week. Today is a bank holiday in the US, Martin Luther King Day. So, the markets are closing at 1 o'clock US time, which is 6 p.m. UK time. So the exchanges are open for futures, etc. So obviously there will be trading today, but light liquidity possibly, because London quite often tends to have light liquidity when there's bank holidays as well. So that means one of two things: either flat sideways days or massive dramatic big move days, because they take advantage of the fact that they can manipulate the market. So obviously, where there's light liquidity, we get more slippage and everything moves a lot faster. So busy weekend entertaining for Andy. Cool. Always good. Entertaining, meaning partying. That's a posh word. So yeah, we'll see what happens today. Might get some decent movement. I've got very little on at the minute. I've just closed out my US dollar yen this morning from Friday. If you're in the Telegram group, I just posted that. We've hit this area. Let's go out bigger. This kind of zone here, we've pulled back up into it. We got quite a strong reaction this morning. And I didn't like the price action. I just don't like the look of that price action. This is a pullback potentially on this move here. So there is potential for this to be a pullback and continuation drop. So wasn't particularly keen on the price action. My TP on this thing was 70 pips from where I got in. We pushed up to 69 pips. And I kind of watched this sideways price action for half an hour this morning, and then we put this big bearish candle in, went and had some breakfast and stuff, and it came down, and I was like, nah, I'm just going to dump it and take it, because if this is going to come back down, it's quite possible, obviously it could continue to the downside, but I didn't want to just get out at zero. I got 0.4 on it, so just put it in the bank, basically. So I'm flat on US dollar yen. Euro Swiss is the only Forex I've got on. Just the one Forex pair, Euro Swiss short. So yeah, just waiting for continuation drop on this one. Nice potential 3-bar reversal going on the 4-hour chart, which would signal the next leg down to the 103.900 level down here. So good 40 odd pips ADR to the downside today, potentially. We'll see what happens on that one. Apart from that, obviously, I've got some S&P and NAS on long, which is just starting to come to life this morning. Yeah. So, news this week. Let's cover news and COT to start with. So, news this week, obviously... we've had China GDP this morning. Don't really affect anything. We don't trade it. Bank holiday, obviously, in the US. We got the BOC Outlook survey this afternoon, so that might have a little bit of an impact on the Canadian dollar. Doesn't tend to move particularly much, but it might kick it off in a direction for half an ADR or so. So see about that. The BOJ report comes out tomorrow. That's always tentative. They never tell us when they're going to actually release it, and the BOJ press conference. So tomorrow morning could be a fair amount of movement in the yen. So if you've got any yen positions on, that will also affect quite possibly your Aussie and New Zealand positions if you've got those as well. Everything during the Asian session tends to get affected by the yen move. So keep an eye on those tomorrow morning, early hours. Euro sentiment reports and manufacturing index again tomorrow. Nothing much news-wise. So the first proper news we have is on Wednesday. We've got CPI for the CAD and the pound. That comes out really nice and early. So we tend to get some decent movement off of CPIs. We've got Bailey speaking in the afternoon. Unlikely to say anything impactive, but you never know. Talking head news is always temperamental. So maybe get some impact on the pound on Wednesday afternoon. Aussie dollar, early hours Thursday, unemployment figures. And then we got fully fed crude and some retail sales and stuff on Friday. So again, same as last week, not particularly impactive news week. So we should see just some decent market structure unfolding across the board and kind of business as usual. But fair few bits of news, but nothing dramatic. So just keep that lot in your calendar and just pay attention to any instruments you've got on in those times this week. COT, no change on the COT. US dollar remained pretty much where it was, still positive in US dollar, waiting for some US dollar movement, haven't had it yet. CAD, hardly any change at all. Pound, no change. Euro, no change. Swissy, we kind of ignore anyway. Yen, a little bit more shorts come on for the yen, which is interesting. But still overall negative. New Zealand remains negative, so that has officially flipped short now. 3 weeks, still shorts coming in on New Zealand, and Aussie, no change. So yeah, COT report, nothing. Same bias. We're short everything long the US dollar. So if you're using COT for long-term directional bias, that's what we've got. So same as last week, no change there at all either. I wouldn't expect there to be a lot of change, obviously, because last week we didn't have any news really that was impactive. So I would expect probably next week will be the same as well, because obviously these figures are reported on Tuesdays. So this is the figure from the previous Tuesday. Hi, Ivor. Have a nice profitable week. Yep, that's the plan. So let's crack on with analysis. We'll have a look at all the pairs, where we are with everything this week. I won't go through the dashboards. We'll just go through all the pairs, basically. So ADRs, obviously, I'll quickly whiz for the ADR dashboard. Nothing. It's flat. No ADR alerts. Keep your eyes on those today. The wrong dashboard. The 4 hours. We've got a few things lit up: Aussie CAD, Aussie Swiss, Euro Odd, and Pound Odd. So keep your eyes on those ones. Morning Rahat. Hourly, Aussie Dollar CAD as well. So we're going to start with the Aussie CAD anyway. So the dashboards are pretty. So I've got an extra dash. It's confusing me. I'm confusing myself because I've got an extra dash on there now. I've got the market reverse alerts dash also on now. So normally my P&L is on the right, and then the H4 dash. So I've tried to label these so that I know that that's the H4 dash, that's the H1 dash, and that's the ADR dash, but my brain hasn't actually taken that into account yet. So if I keep flicking to the wrong dashboard, it's just because I've changed things around a bit. So we'll have a flick through all the pairs and have a look at what's going on. Starting with the Aussie CAD. So has anybody got any particular pairs they want to have a look at anyway? Just stick it in the chat if you have, and we'll have a look at them in more detail. But so yeah, looking to get some risk on this week because I've got nothing on but Euro Swiss, and obviously the NAS and S&P I'm holding all the time anyway. So Euro Swiss basically is the only thing I've got exposure to. I had a chance to get out of that last week and I didn't, so I'm just going to hold on to it. Do I have a live where I talk about basket strategy? There's no live. There is a 5-day course on the YouTube channel. So go to the YouTube channel. You can't miss it. Position Trading Bootcamp. 5-day course. All about position trading. Basket trading, position trading, whatever you want to call it. same thing. So yeah, go and watch that 5-day course, teach you everything you need to know. So yeah, Aussie dollar CAD. We have pulled down very nicely. We are extended on the 4 hour. We got extended last week. We looked at this one. See, I took a long there. Yeah, as we were coming down, which I got out of last week. This is the area of interest for me down here where I was looking to bounce. And obviously we got that nice little bounce there. We've pushed up and pulled back down into that area again. So potentially another nice area to start looking for longs at. So yeah, liking the look of this one. From the dashboard perspective, this is one of the few that is actually, the pound odd and the odd CAD are the only two really that have got any decent extensions on them at the moment. So this is a pretty good looking long opportunity. Obviously there's no bias on it. Aussie and CAD both are short positions at the moment. So if we are going to break through this buy area here, then this is where we'd be looking to come down to for some kind of reaction. 150 ADR today, obviously unlikely we'll hit that, but that's where I'd look for a double bottom bounce. So potentially a good area to start looking for taking long positions on. There's news coming up this week, obviously. So just to go back to the calendar and remind ourselves, Aussie dollar, we've got news on Thursday. So that could be particularly when we get our movement. CAD, we've got CPI obviously on Wednesday as well, and we've got retail sales on Friday for CAD. So the odd CAD is a good thing to trade this week because we've got lots of news catalysts. So I'm probably going to take a long on this one. I'm just trying to see where I really want to get in. We've just taken out the lows, so this is probably a good spot actually. So I'm going to stick the EA on there. Odd CAD. What number are we on Euro Swiss? That's the only thing I've got on 1 and 2. There we go. So we can use 3 and 4. So I'm going long. 3 and 4. And targets, I'll stick target initially at an ADR. And then monitor it. Oops. Turn the EA on. Okay, so Aussie dollar CAD. I want to go on M15. Going to get in the next reversal on M15 on Aussie dollar CAD. Aussie dollar Swiss, pound yen. We'll have a look at pound yen. Yeah, we get to that one, Chris. So Aussie dollar Swiss, Swiss franc. We've been waiting. Last week we were waiting for some strength to come in on the Swissy. We've had a really weak Swissy for a number of days on the trot. We got that movement started. You can see we've got the reversal alert there, and it just slammed straight down. I'm on the Euro Swiss, obviously. So we're coming down to a potential area of support here, although this is just really in a big choppy range at the moment. So I would look for some kind of pullback on this. The wicks on it look really, really nice on the 4 hour though. We've got 1, 2, 3 4 hour candles in a row with wicks to the upside. Hammers really are only relevant after an up move. So this hammer here is a relevant hammer. If you get a hammer in a consolidation or a hammer in a range, you don't really pay any attention to them. Hammers are, and shooting stars, sorry, that's a shooting star, not a hammer. That's a hammer. So hammers and shooting stars, really, you pay attention to after a strong move to the downside for hammers, and shooting stars after a long move to the upside. So although these are hammers, shooting stars, it's Monday morning, give me a break. I don't pay much attention to them when we're sitting sideways in a range like that, especially on a light liquidity day like a bank holiday. But it does show there is much more selling pressure than buying pressure. Obviously, you've got lots and lots of wicks to the upside. So, yeah, looking like it wants to come down. This area here, obviously, was the strong move up, although it was a pretty strong move up continuously, starting all the way back down here. So I think realistically this is where we're headed if we're going to continue to the downside, but I would look ideally for a pullback on this move, just maybe up into here, and then shorts on it really if you wanted to get into that one, but it's not extended on RSI to any shape or form that I'm interested in. It was extended for longs down here, but not particularly interested looking trade at the moment. So Aussie yen, Sideways mess. Difficult to tell what to do with this one. The yen is weak, obviously, but we tend to get yen strength coming through with US dollar, and we are expecting US dollar strength to come through soon. So I'm kind of short everything against the yen at the moment. So I'm looking for short opportunities on everything against the yen, and this one obviously would be really more of a long than a short. Again, flatlined here. We've had a reversal alert. Obviously, we had a nice reversal alert there, which has pulled back down. We just had another reversal alert, so likely we're going to pull back up a little bit, but not really any directional bias on it. It's just kind of sitting really there. Has just kind of broken back above the 72. So potentially, if you look at this short-term trend, we are up, but long-term trend is kind of down. So it's just a bit of a choppy one at the moment, not really any directional bias on it. So you can really play any RSI extensions you get, but I'd be looking for sort of 75s, 25s. When we get pairs that have got no COT bias, I'm more strict on my entries. So I want to see really good, strong extensions to be getting in on things when we've got no COT bias. If there's COT bias, I'm a little bit more aggressive to get in because I'm expecting some movement and some bias on the currency. But when we've got no directional bias, I'd rather be waiting for really good strong extensions, and obviously there's just nothing here at the moment. So I'm not sure we're going to get any today, to be honest. Might have a bit of a flat day, so we'll see. But no directional bias on that one. Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar longs at the moment, based on our trend. So we're bouncing off the 24. We put in a kind of double top here, and we are gradually making new highs ever so slightly. So this one is kind of a very slight ascending triangle, but I would be looking for range-bound trades on this. So where we are down here, playing it back up to the top. But again, you know me, I'm looking for RSI extensions. We've got no RSI extensions anywhere. If you want to play really aggressive, get down to M15 and wait for big pushes down. So if maybe come out and take yesterday's low out down here, maybe look for longs on it, but nothing particularly interested on Aussie New Zealand either. Aussie US, again, it's kind of ranging upwards in a big sort of downtrend. None of these Aussies really have got much directional bias at all at the moment. We're kind of in these big sort of ranges. So any extensions you get above RSIs, yeah, so take shorts. If we get down to the lows, take longs. That's really all you can do. Just wait for reversal alerts, really, when we are extended at extremes. But we haven't got any extremes on this one at the moment. So again, no directional bias. More short than long, definitely on this one. This is a short bias because the US dollar is a long. So I'd be looking for basically shorts on it, Aussie dollar, the US dollar. So if you want to trade again on lower time frames, wait for a pullback. So this one, for example, here. We've got these gaps down here, which potentially we're going to come down and fill, but right now, probably that sort of movement. So if we can get a pullback up into there and get an RSI extension, unlikely we'll get up there, but we might do. It'd have to be a pretty strong move to get up there, but yeah, we're looking for shorts on it. CAD Swiss. So the CADs, again, this is mainly based off Swiss franc movement because we have that nice Swiss franc move. But we've had the reverse alert. You can see I shorted this one. I had 3 shorts on this one, which I got out of on that move. We have pushed down further. So again, I'll be looking really for shorts on this at some point. We are in a downtrend. So we've broken out of that downtrend at the moment. But we are still moving down. So I'd be looking for any pullbacks and then drops. That was a big, strong propulsion move. That it has been tested already, but they may well come back and retest again on that one. So if we can get any decent movement to the upside, that'd be nice for short opportunities. You'd need to look at it on lower time frames, though. H4, you're not going to get up there. Hourly, there's not a lot of room, is there? It's 35. So you'd be up to sort of 150 ADR if you can get that type of movement up there. Be a nice little area to short. Obvious target would be down here. If we can get up there, that is. CAD Swiss. Yeah, so CAD Yen. Excuse me. Again, looking for shorts on this one. Just biased at the moment on shorts for everything against the yen. We've kind of got a little bit stuck on this one. We had this big, strong move out of this double bottom down here. We've broken this. There's so many levels on this move here to sort of pick. It's very difficult to see where it's going to retrace from, and you can see it's doing exactly the opposite as we're going back up the other way. It's just beautiful price action. So on lower time frames, you can kind of trade this any way you like. It's got lovely movement, but there's not really a directional bias on this one again, and we haven't got any decent extensions on RSI. We have got divergence on this one though, so we've kind of put in a double bottom here, and we've got divergence, so it's bullish at the moment for me from that perspective, and obviously we've had that move obviously started to kick in already off of that double bottom, but whether or not we are going to get new highs in today, I don't know. So we've got areas of selling pressure here where we got the reversal alert and the retest. We've pulled out of that very nicely and strongly, so this is potentially just a pullback into that area before we get a continuation drop to the downside. So again, very difficult to read this one, but I'd be much more interested in shorts than longs. Can we have a look at gold as well? Yep, can have a look at gold in a minute. Swiss yen, same thing. Be looking for shorts. Swissy obviously has got a life of its own. It powers up as you see, boom, and then you get these massive movements. So I'd be more short on it at the moment based on the fact that I'm expecting some yen strength to come through, but from a trend bias perspective, we are long, and we've got this really nice sort of market structure starting to form, potentially for long opportunities. But we put in this new high. We didn't get down to this area of potential support. So again, it's a difficult one, but from a market structure perspective, we are potentially doing that. From a COP perspective, I'd be more inclined to see that happening with some yen strength coming through. But again, I've got no real directional bias on this one either. So like all the others, when you get extensions, short it and long it out of strength and wait for pullbacks. That's really all you can do with this one at the moment. Again, nothing. We're flat. So it's going to be the story of the morning today, I think. Obviously, we've got nothing extended much. So it's just a case of waiting for some market movement today and tomorrow to get us into positions where we can get into things. So Euro odd. Sideways, it's a short. Always short the euro. If you've been in here for any period of time with me, you know I'm shorting the euro like mad every time I get an opportunity. Just double topped on that one. So lovely opportunity for short there. Didn't quite get extended. Hourly, we did. So you would have taken that on Friday afternoon. We just put in a liquidity run of yesterday's high and double top of last Friday's high, and we're rejecting. So reversal alert on that one, short it. M15 you probably have had, yeah, so you just had one and a retest on M15. So yeah, looking really nice for shorts. Euro odd. I've got Euro Swiss on short, so, and I've got 4 positions on that, so I'm just holding that Euro Swiss. I'm not going to get into another euro at the moment, but that's a really nice short euro odd, so I would take that one. If that fails, obviously planning. If that fails, obviously be looking for the triple top bounce there, which is also running straight into all this selling pressure on this down move that started that. So you got loads of congestion you're running into on this one. If we do get some crazy Australian dollar figures which make the Aussie dollar really weak this week, obviously you could well get squeezed up to there. But unlikely. It's the euro. Any kind of strength on the Aussie dollar and the euro is going to come down. So really nice short, that one. As I say, M15, you've just had the reversal alert. You're running into a little bit of a congestion here with these wicks, but as soon as it breaks that, we should be off to the downside. Really nice long drop on that one. EuroCAD. EuroCAD's just bounced with a nice double bottom, and we've had a reversal alert. Again, I'm shorting this. Well, I'm not shorting it at the moment, but I would be shorting it. I want to get extended, though, before I short, especially with this sort of strength we've recently had on the euro. I want to make sure I get in on some extensions now. I just don't want to get in willy-nilly on it, but anywhere around there obviously would have been a beautiful short. So I'm waiting for some extensions on the RSI, on the EuroCAD. Didn't get anything on the hourly either. So if we can get any decent movement to the upside on this one, lovely short. Obviously you can see it's downtrending, so you just want to short it. If you can get opportunities, if you're more aggressive, obviously M15, you'd have had an opportunity to get in sort of around there. But yeah, so EuroCAD would be shorts. Euro Swiss, short. I'm already short it, as you can see. So looking for movement back down to here to retest these lows at some point. Euro Pound, be shorting that as well. Again, same thing, waiting for some extensions up to drop it. Haven't got anything anywhere near at the moment. We're really stuck at the moment, aren't we, in a consolidation. So we've had a reversal alert to the upside. You've got this low area here. So this is a fairly decent level here to look at. We've obviously got this level already drawn in here as well, which we've reacted at multiple times. So if we are going to push up and we get to this sort of area, that's where I'd be looking to drop it from. By the time you get there, you'll be up into the 72.24 zone, ready for a nice short. But it's going to have to push some to get up there. We're going to need a weak pound to move that up there. And again, we've got news on the pound this week. We've got Bailey speaking on Wednesday afternoon, and we've got CPI for the pound on Wednesday morning. So that could be the catalyst to give us a weak pound, which could drive this one up. And if it drives up to there, I'll be shorting it. And Euro New Zealand, stuck, horrible range bound. Our friend, the Euro New Zealand. Darmond, are you out of the Euro New Zealand yet or not? I got out my Euro New Zealand's. I've been getting out the Euro New Zealand for ages, actually. Every time it's gone up there, I've shorted it and got out of it. But yeah, we're back up there again. So looking at this one on the daily, we got this. Let's extend this out. Let's assume that we're just going to stay here forever. So we're stuck in this range. Every time we try and get out of this range, the sellers batter it down. We've got wick after wick after wick after wick after wick. And we are not interested up here at going higher. So again, same thing. We've wicked out of it already this morning. Look at the size of this wick already this morning and rejection. Short it. So all you can do until this gives us any direction, otherwise you're shorting it. 3-bar reversal going in right now. M15, you've missed it, but not by far. The reverse alert was there 4 pips ago, 100 pip ADR. Yeah, getting short. You're in New Zealand. Until it tells us it wants to go another direction, which obviously can happen at any time. That's the thing you've always got to bear in mind with ranges. Ranges are great to trade until they stop being a range. When they become a breakout, you are going to be on the wrong side of that for however long it takes to pull back and do a profit take. Yeah. So this is an accumulation phase. The market is at the moment accumulating orders. We do not know which direction that market is accumulating orders in. And when it decides to break in one direction or the other, you will get a decent, strong move like this. So we don't know which way it's going to go. It's really, really trying to break out of these highs, but there's no sellers up there. So there's too many sellers up there. So yeah, for me, it's a nice looking short at the moment. What have I just put on? Aussie dollar CAD, haven't I? You're in New Zealand. Do I want to take another one on this? Whoops, sorry. maximise my monitor there. Yeah. I'm going to think about that one. I really like that 3-bar reversal that's going in at the moment on that. Looks really nice. I just don't. It's really bearish at the top. I want to see this H4 candle close below this this line, this red line. If we can get a close below there, I'd be interested in shorting that. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to set an alert there. Just move that down. So when we get down to this level here, approaching these lows, I'm just going to get an alert on that. I might well get into that one. Euro New Zealand. Okay, Euro New Zealand short. Euro yen, be shorting it. Waiting for an opportunity to short it. Haven't got any at the moment. The opportunities to short it were all the couple of weeks ago, and we'll be out of those if you were in them. Again, like the idea of shorting everything against the euro based on potential US dollar strength dragging the yen with it. And obviously euro, I'm obviously shorting all the time. So euro US dollar. So this is the inverse of the Dixie. So this is basically the US dollar index upside down like that. And obviously, as you can see, we had that breakout on the US dollar. It is just starting to roll over. This is the area that I highlighted that we are likely to want to come up to, which is the same on the Dixie. There's one of those levels further down. We had an extension on RSI last week, which obviously broke to the downside nicely. So yeah, looking for shorts on this one. At the moment, you've got an opportunity here to retest and break to the downside. So if we can push back up into the reversal alert on the 4-hour chart, you've got an opportunity to short it on a retest there. So anywhere up here, basically, if we can push a little bit higher, look for potential short opportunities on that one as well. M15, yeah, it's difficult. It's a difficult one to really call. It hasn't got all the way back down here yet. The thing you've got to bear in mind with this one is this range, yeah. So when we get back down, we should get back down to here to retest. If it gets down to there to retest before it gets back up to there, I'd be wary of it. If it gets up to there and then starts putting some bearish price action in, I would be pretty sure we're going to come down and retest. This is the key level as to whether or not the US dollar is going to have enough strength to actually reverse it or not. So it's a difficult one, but I'd be looking for shorts on the euro US dollar as well. Right, pounds. The pound is still short from a COP perspective. Again, pound odd, really nice pop out above the highs today. So we've taken the liquidity from last week and we seem to be running away with it. Not massive extension on RSI on the 4-hourly. This is not a bad move to the upside and not a lot of profit taking gone on. We've just had a reversal on retest on M15. So we've taken out yesterday's high. We've put in a beautiful M pattern. Got the retest off the reversal alert. So looking really, really nice for potential shorts. Obviously, we've got the news on the pound this week, which could have some decent movement. So it's not quite extended enough for me, this one, because there's no real directional bias on it. I'd like to see it a bit more extended. We did get extended up there as well, and it is, it looks like it's coming down, doesn't it? It looks like it's just done that liquidity run of a couple of weeks ago. So everybody has basically, when we pushed up into here, made this high, it pushed down short. Everybody would have started entering their short positions there. They sat there and accumulated for a couple of days, and then they pushed down. Everybody went, yep, we're going short. Everybody that jumped in short there put their stops here. And this morning we took that lot out. So everybody that's entered position short on the pound odd for the last week and a half has just been taken out of the market. Therefore, they've got enough power and liquidity now to drop it if they want to. They could well obviously just pull back into a range. We don't know. But that's the closest area of potential support. So if this is going to play out, this one, that's where you'll be playing it back down to. But we'll see. Pound odd looks good, but it's not quite extended enough for me. I like it, but if it was up at the 70 plus 75 area when it got up there, I'd be all over it like a rash. But I've just got the feeling they might chop. The other thing, obviously, is with this one, from a market structure perspective, we have just made a new high. We are in an uptrend. So potential pullback to the 24 to put in a new high somewhere around here and then push off to the upside. But right now, either way, I think we're probably going to pull back short term over the next couple of days. So it's a good short, but it's also potentially a nice pullback and long opportunity. So I'm undecided on it, therefore I don't take it. Pound CAD, mess. Choppy sideways mess. Technically, we've broken out to the upside. But the 72 is holding nicely, and the 24 really. So this is a crucial point here. It's either going to drop or it's going to bounce. Very, very difficult to tell what it's going to do from here. We are in a decent area of support and resistance here. So this whole zone, which I've got drawn in, from these highs here and these highs here, you can see this is an area that's been multiple tested many times. So this is a very strong support resistance zone. We are basically bouncing off of it continuously now. So where we are right now, nice potential long. If we break back down through that, we're going to come down hard. So again, very difficult place to take a trade from. So for me, nothing at the moment. I want to see some extension on RSI one way or the other. The hourly, I think we had, I don't know, was it not the hourly we had an extension on? Oh, it's pound odd was extended. So yeah, so pound CAD, it's in a really good area potentially for longs. You can see this massive kind of range that we've been in. It's much clearer on the hourly chart, the range that we're in at the moment. So this is a good area for taking long opportunities. If it was to push down further and get extended on the hourly chart, I'll be dropping down to M5 and potentially looking for long opportunities on that. But yeah, it looks good for longs at the moment on the pound CAD. Big news on these guys this week. So pound odd daily is in gap zone. What do you mean by gap zone? Not quite sure what you mean. That's terminology I am not familiar with. Pound Swiss. So pound Swiss broken out nicely to the highs. Again, this is where we were shorting it up here. And we've just had the move to the downside. We've put in new highs. So from a market structure perspective here, this was the highs down to the lows. And we've just put in a new high. Expect to pull back at some point and then potentially push off again to the upside. But this is obviously being driven by the Swiss franc at the moment because the pound hasn't got a massive amount of strength to it. So yeah, again, difficult one to call. We've got we're in the rectangle, support rectangle for the reversal alerts indicator here, and it's holding quite nicely, has been holding quite nicely over the last few days here. So again, potential longs out of here, but very, very, very difficult one to call at the moment, and it's probably going to be based off Swiss franc movement. So again, not really one that I'm interested in trading. Probably more longs than shorts. But again, it's difficult. We've got this big move here. This is one I've been struggling with this one for the last few weeks. Remember, every time I've said this has been so orderly, the way that this is traded up here. It's been just really, really nice until here where we had this big acceleration away, and that is where we we're looking to get short from. So there's not really any decent support resistance levels here. You've got these wicks here really, but there's no real levels I can see that are obvious turning points for potentially getting into positions. So when I can't see strong support and resistance, I don't like to take trades because it's unclear how far we're going to pull back. You can stick a fib on it, you could measure the move, and you know, we haven't even had a 38 retracement on this leg yet, so there's still downside on it, but potentially it could just want to run away. So again, not really interested in pound Swiss at the minute. Resistance with gap filter. Rahat's just said on that pound odd. Oh, I see the gap indicator. Right. Oh, okay, fine. Yeah, yes, we are. This is obviously the high, which we rejected out of. We pulled down here. We tested it 3 times, 4 times, 5, 6, 7 times. So this is holding up as a really good, strong sell zone on the daily. I don't really pay much attention to the daily ones, to be honest. I don't trade this long term. But yeah, you're right. There is a gap, propulsion move there. It's difficult whether the reason I don't like these longer term ones on the dailies, they tend to get invalidated a lot more and a lot quicker. So you can see I mean, a lot of them do anyway, but it just crashes through it. Sometimes it respects it quite nicely, like here, really nicely respected. But it's such a long amount of time. I just don't like them as much, the daily ones. Much prefer sort of lower time frames because they're more propulsion moves, and these are just longer term swings. But yeah, use them. You know, use them as you see fit. But I prefer lower time frames. I find them to be better respected, really, and I can see price action better on those time frames. So pound New Zealand was the next one. Pound Swiss we covered, didn't we? Pound New Zealand, double top, triple top at the moment on here. So very nice wicks to the upside. Lots of rejection up here. Again, we gapped down this morning, pushed up, and are rejecting off of it again. So potentially weakness on the pound. We can see the pound's a little bit weak this morning, but it's not extended for me. And I'm looking for big moves, but for me it's short, just based on support and resistance. We just pulled up into this big selling area. We rejected out of it twice, but the buyers have crashed through and they found the highs and bearish engulfing, and we're starting to move back down again. But again, no directional bias on it, so I'd be playing RSI extensions on all the time frames on this, and hasn't got enough extension for me. So pound yen, again looking for shorts on this one. It's again not got any extensions on it. The problem with this one at the moment is obviously we now have pulled up to these highs and rejected off of these highs. So there's a long way to drop on this. This is the area here, obviously, where we were not interested in going below the 150 level. We've pushed back up to the 150 sort of 8 level again and rejected. Every possibility this thing is just going to bounce around in here. There's no directional bias on it at all. So again, I'm potentially looking for yen strength to start to come through. So we've had a nice reversal alert and retest on this, but it has just been shopping around. Aussie dollar yen, you just had a bullish reversal on the hourly. So yeah, I just don't know. It just doesn't, you know, there's too much chop. It just doesn't look directional at all in any way, shape or form at the moment. We had a little touch on the RSI down here, and we've had that little bounce off of it. But again, I want to wait for things to get it really nicely extended to start getting into them at the moment. And We just haven't, we haven't got one at the moment, so steering clear of that. But we're looking more for shorts than longs. Same with the pound US dollar, looking for shorts. This one, lovely reversal alert on the 4 hour. We haven't quite retested it. We may not retest it. But again, propulsion candle. Yeah, so we had this area of buyers here. We tested it. We smashed through it. We came back up and tested that area. The sellers stepped in. This is the first time coming back into this sell zone. M pattern reversal alert. Drop. So waiting for US dollar strength. We haven't got it yet, but when it comes through, obviously this will be a lovely little short. Extension was last week on this one. I said I didn't take this one because I had other US dollars on and I've got out of all of those. So if you did get into this one on Friday, you're in profit on it at the moment. In basket trading, have 5 trades by the EA. If add any manual trade to control drawdown, will EA multiply lots? Multiply lot 1.3 from last open manual trade? No, nothing. EA has nothing to do with manual trades. EA manages its own trades. Anything you do is completely ignored by the EA. Morning, Lee. I am really not a fan of the 15-minute. Would you say if I want to combine 30-minute and 4 hour? Yeah, try it, Bozo. 30-minute isn't far away from the 15. You can see the price action on the 2 isn't actually that different. So if you want to wait for that little bit extra confirmation, then yeah, use the 30. That's fine. Again, it's a personal preference. The thing you've got to bear in mind is the market doesn't pay any attention to time frames. We as retail traders look at time frames. The market doesn't have time frames. They don't use time frames. They're interested in price levels. We just use time frames because we want to get as much out of the market as we can, and seeing more of the action is really all the time frames are doing to us. So if you want to use M15 or M30, it's really not going to make a lot of difference. That's just what I've always used, H4, M15, or hourly and M5, or you could use daily and hourly. But I just want to keep a couple of time frames between my analysis time frame and my entry time frame, really. So, but yeah, do it. Use M30. So yeah, pound US dollar shorts. M15 you would have got in on Thursday last week. And obviously we've just come back out into this buying area at the moment, which we have rejected initially, but still looks like it wants to come down. So that's pound US. You should already be in that one if you were going to get into it last week. New Zealand dollar CAD. We've had a really nice reaction off of this drop. So any longs you took on this one last week, you had an exit, but we've pulled back down again. So we're on a downtrend on this one at the moment. It's likely to at some point want to pull back up into the 24.72 area. Watch out for this level here of support resistance. This is a kind of a critical area right now to see if this is actually going to be the bottom that they're going to put in before they pull back up to the 72. So we're either going to see that retest of the reversal alert and then movement back up into the 72 and the 24 area for potentially a continuation down, or this is just a pullback on this move. Don't know. We don't know, do we? So measuring it, it looks like a beautiful 50 retracement and bounce. So again, difficult one to call, but the long was obviously last week on this, which you should be out of. Not a great trade if you did take it because it didn't really go very far. But it's in a critical spot at the moment. I wouldn't really be looking to trade this at the minute, but I'd be much more interested in shorts if we can get back up to this sort of level here. So if we can pull back up into there, I'd be interested in shorting that out of that area. But again, it's just not in a good area. I don't like chasing shorts, obviously, so you wouldn't want to jump in short on this here. You could do, and it may well go down, but it's just not set up for anything really at the minute. It is a short. The short for us was up here. So if we'd have taken that, obviously that would have been nice, but it's just not really set up for anything. New Zealand, Swiss is stuck, completely stuck in a range. Horrible choppy sideways range at the minute. Down here, you draw it anywhere you like down here, but it's just in a mess. So wait for it to break out, really. Long it at the lows, short it at the highs. Same as the Euro New Zealand, exactly the same thing. Euro New Zealand and New Zealand dollar Swiss are obviously very, very similar because the Euro and the Swiss obviously move very similarly, being in the Eurozone. So, yeah, can't really trade it. And if you want to range bound trade it, obviously wait for it to get down to lows. If it gets down to lows or just below lows, long it. You want to be watching this one on the hourly chart and looking for RSI extensions. But yeah, I mean, it's going to take something to get one, isn't it? So here we go. There's trade was there. So yeah, nothing particularly interested on Euro, on New Zealand Swiss, New Zealand dollar yen, sideways. Again, still stuck sideways. These New Zealands aren't really doing an awful lot at the moment. I'd be looking more for shorts than longs on it. We got this big old selling pressure here that came in, which got defended, and that's where the drop started from. It's unlikely we're going to push up to there, I don't think. So, yeah, not particularly interesting. New Zealand dollar Swiss, as Darmon has just pointed out as well, it's a very low ADR. So if you're looking for stuff to get into and you've got a choice, pick the higher ADR stuff. It just moves quicker. New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Again, looking for shorts on this one. We just had the reverse alert on the 4 hour. There was your trade last week, which is playing out nicely, or played out, depending whether or not you got in and out or whether you're still holding. So any pushes to the upside, looking for shorts on it. We've got short bias on this based on the US dollar potential strength. At the moment, market structure is potentially putting in a very weak upward movement, but it's very weak. So looking for a break to the downside on that at some point, but I want to be getting in at the highs and shorting it. US dollar CAD, beautiful W formed and then pushed to the upside. So again, remember we were looking for longs on this one last week. As this was coming down, we were trying to long it, and we got the bottom put in all the way down here. So if you were long in this last week, you probably got out on Friday, maybe. Did I not take a trade on this last week? I'm sure I took a trade on this last week. Oh yeah, that was one I took there, wasn't it? Yeah. So yeah, longs basically. I got out. My target on this one was only a quick half ADR, so I hit TP on it basically, really much in a session. And that was on a Friday, towards the end of Thursday. So yeah, longs on it basically. We're pulling back nicely at the moment, so good area to start looking to get in to the next reverse alert to the upside. So market structure has formed beautifully. Low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Keep going. Looking for that strength on the US dollar. US dollar Swiss, choppy, horrible mess. We are down at the lows. This is where we were looking last week to take longs from, and they are starting to play out now. So this area I had drawn in. We basically bounced off of it beautifully with the RSI extension, and you'll be out of that one probably now, but it's pulling back so you can get into more positions long. And US dollar yen. Got in long on this one, and obviously I got out of that one this morning. And because I got out of it, remember what I say, if I get out of a trade, hold it, because when I get out of stuff, it normally carries on. So, yeah, nice reversal alert there. didn't manage to retest, and it's off. So yeah, US dollar yen. The only thing that's the only one I'll be longing against US dollar. So Jacob, what do I think of S&P? Yeah, I'll have a look at S&P in a second. Coming on to that now. And I will have a look at gold as well. So US dollar index, where are we? So we've broken down out of the range that we were in. Remember I said this is where we would be heading to, and this is where we've bounced. So for me, this is kind of confirmation of potential US dollar strength now. So we've got down to here. I would expect a continuation bounce now to the upside for the US dollar. We've got a very weak news week again, obviously this week. So from a US dollar perspective, we've got no red news for the US dollar. We've got quite a lot of US dollar news around, but this is not the sort of news that tends to move the market particularly. So this week, I think we'll probably just see normal price action unfolding off of this support. So just really looking for opportunities to long the US dollar on any pullbacks on any of the pairs. So anything US dollar based, look for pullbacks and long it. Anything against the US dollar, where are we pointing to? Here, Aussie dollar, US dollar, for example, look for shorts. So look for any pullbacks and short it. So hopefully we'll get that US dollar strength starting to come through now. It's just a deep pullback by the looks of things on a continuation move to the upside. Gold, I don't trade this. Who was it that was asking about gold? Chris. So yeah, I mean, I do not trade gold, but we are obviously in a large contraction at the moment. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that we're in a symmetrical triangle at the minute. So yeah, at some point we're going to get an explosive move to the upside or the downside. I don't know which. I would suspect probably to the downside, because obviously this is being traded against the US dollar. We're expecting the US dollar to push, which would push the gold price down. But who knows? So we got a reversal alert there and this big selling pressure coming, which we're tapping into at the moment on the daily. Yeah, so we had this big move down. We've pushed up and tried and failed multiple times to push higher, and it's just not able to get anywhere at the minute. Again, it's just contracting really before the move. I don't know which way it's going to go. No one does. But I would say probably more bearish bias than long based on the US dollar at the moment. So if you look at the Dixie, what we would expect the Dixie to do is push higher from here. What we'd expect gold to do, therefore, is push lower. But don't forget, gold is also an entity in its own right. So although it is crossed with the US dollar, it will move on its own without the US dollar going anywhere. So, you know, the gold price could suddenly rise. We don't know. But I don't. That is exactly the reason I don't trade it. If you're using a stop loss, you know, no problem. It's a beautiful thing to trade. It's got really good movement, and it puts in some beautiful, massive candles, which you can make lots and lots of money on. So if you're using a stop, obviously, it's not a problem. You just get stopped out as normal, but you can get massive risk reward out of it. If you're a position trader and it decides to do that, you're in massive problems, which is why I don't trade it. Rahat, if a basket of 10 open trades, TP is half an ADR or $50, when overall basket comes in to 0.5 ADR or $50 in favor, will it close the whole basket? Yeah, that's what it's designed to do. In the RSI dash, we see green light for buy and red for sell. Can be the same in... What? Can be the same in ADR dash when it touched the high or lows. I could do, but you don't need to. Could do, but I don't know. So many YouTube so-called experts say he is going to 3,000. What, gold? You mean gold going to 3,000? Uh, 3,000? No, you're not talking about gold, are you? Can't be talking about gold. Are you talking about gold? I don't know. I mean, it can go anywhere. It's going to take a hell of a long time, though. Look, this is the monthly chart. Could be going to 3,000, but I mean, yeah. I mean, if you look at market structure on the monthly chart, yeah, why not? I don't look that far ahead. I'll be dead by then. I hope not. I could be. I don't know. How long it's going to take to get there? Yeah, that's a real long-term view. I'd be more interested in where we're going this week than if you want to trade that long, go and trade crypto. Get a crypto portfolio together of the top 20 cryptocurrencies. Hold some of them, and then you'll be quids in 5 years' time, I suspect. Right, S&P and NAS. So S&P, we've held the 72 beautifully so far, and we continued to hold it on Friday. So we had a lovely hammer put in on Friday. Got out some more positions on Friday and banked whatever I banked on Friday on the S&P and stuff, 6%. So yeah, beautiful entry this afternoon, this morning. If you got in this morning, so we pulled back down this morning into this big buy area. So we had the reversal alert put in on Friday, pulled back down, retested it, and now we're pushing away. So yeah, looking good for a continuation move to the upside. Nearest area on the hourly chart we've got is obviously making new highs from last week, and we've got that little zone there potentially which we could run into trouble. This obviously is a new market structure going in potentially like so, coming up to go for new highs. So this week I'll be looking for an up week. Yeah, looking good for longs still. Obviously you can see my TPs are up at the highs. I'm in and out constantly on the way up, so I'll be looking for a decent move today on the S&P. But yeah, the fact that it's holding the 72 nicely at the moment looks really good. So that 72, all the 72 bounces tend to hold. We're nowhere near as strong as we could be though. If you look at the daily chart, we've got a lot of volatility at the moment. Typically, when we pull back down into the 24.72 area, we tend to have a run of around about a week to 10 days before we get a pullback starting. Sometimes a little bit longer. We haven't really had, after the Santa rally, we've had nothing but a big, strong pullback. So movement to the upside. This is earnings week. This is earnings fortnight really starting to kick in now. So there's a lot of the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ companies releasing their quarterlies this week and next week. So we will see a lot of decent movement this week. Hopefully all good and positive. It's all forecast to be good and positive. So as long as the figures are coming out there or thereabouts, we should see some decent movement up on the S&P this week. So we'll see. So yeah, S&P looking for longs as usual. Play any pullbacks and just keep scaling in. That's what I do anyway. NAS, same thing. NAS has obviously pulled back way deeper. We had a similar move on Friday. I was hoping, remember I said on Friday morning, if you were in here, what I was expecting to happen on Friday was a pullback and then a push back up to around about 50% of the move that we had on Thursday. because obviously we had this big flush out and push up. So this was what I was expecting to be the low, and then start to move up, but we didn't quite get there. And we had a bit of a selling day, but all rallied again on Friday afternoon, late towards the end of the session. This morning we've got the same movement happening on the NAS as we have on the S&P. So yeah, pullbacks and looking for long opportunities on that. Again, the same. Obviously, the NAS highs. The NAS is putting in different price action to the S&P at the moment. Tech sector's not doing as well as a lot of the other market. So we had this new high put in, which is what we were expecting to then start the pullback and push from, and we had this big collapse down to here. So looks to me like this is the new low. We've got the reversal alert, the pullback. We're in the retest at the moment. So today, I want to break basically above the reversal alert on the 4-hour chart, and that would confirm market structure really for me, and then continuation this week. And then up to hopefully to new highs, but whether or not we get there in the next week or so, difficult to tell. We have put in a new low, which is unusual, off of a double bottom. So the price structure, market structure, is just weird on the NAS at the moment. But it is coming into earnings week, and it is coming out the back of Christmas. So, it is a bit of a weird time. So remember, this afternoon, it's a 1 o'clock close on the indices. Well, not on the indices, on the CFDs, but on the futures market. So you won't get a lot of movement this afternoon towards the end of the afternoon. There is only half a session in New York. And that half a session, a lot of people are off. So you won't find potentially there's a lot of movement this afternoon. And if there is a lot of movement, it's because there's a lot of light liquidity in the market. And there's some people dumping some big orders in, which is just going to slip the market to hell anyway. So if we do get a nice slip, it'd be lovely to slip to the upside. But we'll see. So this afternoon, I'm just going to do the normal analysis at 2 o'clock as usual. I will hang around for the start of the open at 2:30, but I'll probably knock off about 3 o'clock this afternoon, unless we get any crazy action at the start of the New York Open at 2:30. I'm not probably going to trade much this afternoon. I'll just let these positions that I've currently got on play out. So looking to bank some of this today, but I want to get some more upside movement. There's no point in getting out of them now in London. We'll see where we get to at the end of London. If we've got anywhere, I suspect we might well just hold in a range. But if we do manage to get up to there today, then I'll probably start to get out of a couple of these positions on the S&P and the NAS. And obviously then get back in if we do pull back. Any questions on that or anything else? Rahat, why don't you stream by showing yourself? I don't know. I just don't. What do you want to look at my ugly mug for? I don't know. I just haven't. The trouble is, I've been running my live room on Zoom for a couple of years, and we've never had faces on Zoom, so I don't, just never have, but could put a camera up, just scare you all. You wouldn't want to see me. There's a guy on YouTube I've seen a couple of times that makes his face look like a panda, so maybe I should do that. Maybe I'll pick an animal and I'll pretend to be an animal. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't got a camera for a start. I'm operating off a massive 43-inch monitor. Well, loads of monitors, but I haven't actually got a camera on anything, so I'd have to buy a camera as well. I'll consider it. Who wants to see me? Maybe I'll put a poll up in Telegram. Who wants to see my face? You won't be that impressed. Right, so let's have a look at just a recap rather of news for today before I disappear. So obviously nothing much today because obviously it's the bank holiday. So the only news we've got to really pay any attention to is CAD this afternoon. to see if there's anything happening on that one. But apart from that, there is no news. I've got the EA set up on Aussie dollar CAD to get me into a long position after we pull back down to here. So reversal alert to the upside, looking for first entry on a CAD position based on this nice embedded extension down here. We are just breaking out of that area now, potentially. So if we break below here, which we are trying to do at the moment, this is obviously the next stop. We've got all this accumulation chop here. So if we do break this level, we'll get some kind of reaction out of here, because there's going to be a load of buyers. Obviously, you can see this is where the buying started that caused this rally. Yeah, so there's buyers here. On this is obviously the hourly chart. So when you look at this on a higher time frame, yeah, so roughly there where we started. When you start going up to higher time frames, looking at the swing traders will have started entering on market structure shifts here and scaling in maybe along here. So they will have liquidity under there. So they will be defending this area hard, wanting to push price back up. So pullback at some point on it is due. Similar sort of thing to this, yeah. So we've got this big move down, pullback. That's a profit take move. I'm looking to get that profit take move there. And the other thing I was looking at was our friend the Euro New Zealand potentially for a short. But I don't know. I really don't know about this Euro New Zealand. The thing I don't like about this at the moment is the way that we are holding these highs. It's a beautiful 3-bar reversal, though. That's my favourite candlestick pattern that's forming there on the Euro New Zealand. And it holds, when it kicks in, it holds so well a lot of the time. So it does look like a nice looking short opportunity on Euro New Zealand up there, but it's just not extended, which is the only thing that worries me. I hate getting in when RSI is not extended, because if you get in here and it decides to go extended, I'm just making myself sit through whatever that drawdown is going to be. I'd rather get in up here when the drawdown's happened, and you get out a lot quicker. So, and I've already traded it, as you can see, quite nicely from there. So I might leave it. I'll see. I'll put it in the Telegram group if I'm going to take a trade on this one this morning. But other than that, I am just waiting for more extensions on RSI, which we haven't really got at the moment. So bear in mind, today being the bank holiday, we could well see a London session just sit within Asia and go absolutely nowhere. So Euro New Zealand 4-hour candle closes in about 1 minute. Where are we? No, it's 9:45. Closes in. Well, it depends which broker you're on. So mine is the 4 to 8. So this is the 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this is my midday candle. So I've got a fair old bit on this one yet. But it depends which time zone you're in. Trade your own charts. Always trade your own charts. Never trade someone else's, because everybody's got different time zones, got different brokers, different broker close candles. But if you can get yourself on a UTC +2 broker like this, which is what they call a New York close candle, this is what the majority of the market uses. So best thing to use. Right. And so anybody got any other questions before I disappear? And if you want to know when your candles are closing, you can get candle close indicators, which basically just put a little timer down in the corner and tell you how long you've got left on the candle. They are quite useful. Euro Swiss, we just had a reversal alert. That's what I like to see on M15. Oh, it's a retest actually of a long. No. There's someone there. Oh, maybe that was the wrong alert. Don't know. So yes, you can always get a candle close timer. It's quite handy candle close timers. Andy, your 4 hour closes in 15 minutes. Yeah, so midnight 4, 8, 12, yeah. Yeah. Price action should be roughly the same anyway, so. Right, I'll be back on at 2 o'clock. We'll see how the London session goes. I'm not expecting masses out of the London session this morning, obviously because it's bank holiday. We might not get a massive amount of movement, but keep an eye on the ADRs today as well. But yeah, I'm not really planning on to do an awful lot more today than manage the positions I've got on. Mainly concentrate on the S&P and the NAS if I can get some of those into profit. I've got quite a few of them in profit already. So I can bank another 0.5%, 0.75% or something at the moment. But I'm going to let these run and just wait for them to get a little bit higher. And then I'll put some more in the bank and scale in on those. So yeah, back at 2 o'clock. Anything you need, come into the Telegram group. I'm always in the Telegram group if you need anything. So you can always come in there, ask questions about indicators, strategy, or anything in particular. And then we'll have a look and see what happens at the New York Open and see if we get any movement. But not planning on sticking around for ages this afternoon because I don't think we're going to get an awful lot of movement. So, all right, anything you need, let me know. Otherwise, have a good morning and hopefully we'll see you at 2 o'clock UK this afternoon for the New York session.